Welcome to the Story Lounge podcast. My name is Morgan Jannusch. I'm a trained journalist and I am obsessed with storytelling. I love hearing people's stories about what they've been through, what shaped them, the things that have impacted them, changed their lives, and even the things they're probably still trying to figure out. You'll be hearing stories from people all across the world. I'll even probably chuck in some of my own stories. And there'll be laughs, probably some tears, maybe even a bit of swearing. To be honest, I don't really know where some of these conversations are going to go, and that's the really exciting part. Because sometimes hearing someone else's story can unexpectedly impact the rest of your life. And maybe then you'll feel a little more seen, a little more understood, and maybe even a little less alone. The power of storytelling can be life-changing. So grab a cuppa, come on in, get comfy, and welcome to the Story Lounge podcast. Hi guys, welcome. This is the very first episode of the Story Lounge podcast. And to be honest, I don't really know what is going to happen within this episode. We're just going to sort of roll with it because my goal with this podcast is that it is real, it is raw, it is human, right? And sometimes things will come your way that you didn't expect it. And yes, I might have dot points and a bit of an idea, but we never really know. So we're just sort of going to jump in and roll with it. First episode though, I thought, might as well introduce myself so you know who the hell you're listening to. My name is Morgan Jannusch and this is the Story Lounge podcast. Now, I am a trained journalist and I absolutely love storytelling. I left journalism back in 2023 after covering some really traumatic times within my area, and I'll go into that at a later episode. But I decided to step away for my own well-being and my own mental health. And unexpectedly, I started a business, which I just never saw coming. Again, one of those things that life really just throws your way unexpectedly. And it is called MJ Communications. So it is August 2026 now. We've been going strong for over 3 years. It's an award-winning business, and I help people to shape their stories and share them with strategy and soul. Now, I do that in a number of different ways. I do that through social media marketing, PR and media support, copywriting, marketing strategies, all up. But really, it's just looking at the power that storytelling has and helping people to really harness the story that they've already got within them. So, a little bit about me. I am a Queensland girl here in Australia. My dad is in the army, so growing up we moved around a lot. And I thought I was living, a life that was pretty normal in a way, and I guess it is, but I realized not everybody gets to go to all these different schools or live in different towns. My husband, he grew up in the same house day in, day out. And to me, that is just insane. I was so used to moving every year. And of course, the more that I moved, the more people that I met and more stories that came from it. There's been quite a few stories that have been incredibly life-changing along the way for me. Again, something that I'll dive into in later episodes. But I guess I really started to understand the power that stories can hold. And you can see books behind me if you are watching the video of this. If you're not, if you're just listening in, that is no problem. But I do have bookshelves behind me. I have family history folders. I have the Harry Potter books, a range of different things. And when I jumped into journalism, I really began to understand the depth of storytelling and the different ways that it occurs now. It is really in everything that we do. And so many people are forgetting the power that these stories can have. a few hours ago, I was just on a playlist on Spotify and it was listening to some early 2000s Aussie classics, it was saying. And a song came on that automatically took me back to an ad that Neighbours had way back when Bridget was in a car accident and Bridget ended up dying. Now, I think this was like 2006 or 7 or something along those times. But just hearing that song triggered a memory, and my heart hurt all over again. And as I went onto YouTube to rewatch the ad, because of course, there were comments on there going, it is 2025 and I'm still heartbroken. It is 2026 and why am I still crying? There are stories that stay with us and they might not be true. They might be works of fiction. But stories have a way of impacting our lives and, can make us feel less alone, can connect us all, can educate us. There's so many different things that it can do. And once I dived into business, I realized that so many people were not harnessing the power of their own story, because ultimately, like I said, it's actually how we connect with each other. It's the stories you heard growing up. It's your favorite movie. It's, your favorite musician or your favorite song or TV show, whatever it might be. So many lessons that we learn have all come from stories. Look at all the cultures throughout the years. Before we were writing things down, we were sharing stories, and that has just surpassed everything. And so it's something I feel really deeply in my heart, and I'm really excited to go on this journey with you and explore this podcast and hear the stories of so many other people, because you never realize the impact that someone else's story can have on you. And maybe it is that moment where it takes you away from reality for a moment, or it just helps you to not feel so alone, or to know that you're not the only person going through a certain situation, or maybe it's just you can relate to someone and go, yes, that was me. Whatever it might be, maybe it's a chance to reflect on all that you've accomplished. Who knows? Or maybe it's you hear something that could relate to someone else and they could find peace and happiness or heal from. We never really know. That's the magical thing when it comes to storytelling. So I will wrap it up there. But yes, I'm very, very excited to follow on this journey. Make sure you are following on my socials. So my business is MJ Communications. MJ, one word, Communications. Or you can find me, Morgan Jannusch, on socials as well. I'll have all my details attached to wherever you are listening or watching. But have an amazing, amazing day. See you later, guys. And that's where we'll leave it for today. Thank you so much for sitting with me and for listening to another story here in the Story Lounge. I really hope there was something in today's episode that connected with you. Maybe it made you laugh, made you think, or maybe there was just a little moment where you went, yes, I needed to hear that. And if there's a story you think needs to be told, maybe it's yours or someone else you know, I'd genuinely love to hear it. Come and find me on socials, send me a message and tell me all about it. And if listening to these stories has made you think a little more about your own and how you could start sharing it, you can also come and join me inside the Story Lounge membership. It's $98 a month to month with no lock-in contract. And it's where I help you shape your story and share it with strategy and soul. You'll find all the details through my socials. Until next time though, thank you for listening, and I'll see you back here in the Story Lounge podcast.